back more or less in the top positions in the league. We don't have to speak about their potential, about their individual quality. They have dominated the league in last season like rarely a different team has done in the years before. Reigning champion, have all chances also to be back involved in the title race, and impressive performances, impressive results in the last weeks. And then, in this circumstance, in this moment, to go more or less on New Year's Day to Anfield is more or less one of the most challenging and difficult tasks that you can have. But we wanted to have these games. We want to play back on the top level. We have it right now, and we have challenges, and we're looking forward to have this game. Yes.
And can I just finish by asking about transfers? Because by the time you play Liverpool, the window will be open, and already today we're seeing clubs moving in the market. Do you expect any new arrivals as we sit here today between now and the end of January?
No, like I mentioned, so for the upcoming games, especially for the next 3 league games, so no new player will be able to support us, even if you would have an early signing. Anyhow, it also makes no sense. You sign him one day and then more or less a day after he plays straight away a Premier League game. You need also time on the training pitch. So for that, it's more a topic. So when we can speak about when there is more or less here first FA Cup weekend, then we can also speak a bit more about this. Till then, we just concentrate on our group, and they need all my attention right now. We have tough fixtures and quick turnarounds, and for that, this topic, potential new signings, is not a topic for me till we have played the next 3 league games.
Just continuing that theme a little more, in terms of outgoings, have you had conversations with any players who maybe have expressed a desire to look elsewhere? Opportunities to get more minutes with other clubs, has that taken place yet?
Well, I speak with my players each and every day, and we are in close conversations. But I have no plans to give any player away from our group, because we have a tight group anyway, and we wanted also a tight group because I don't believe in working with a group that is too big, because it's never beneficial then for unity and togetherness and spirit. I think it's important that everyone is needed, and I definitely need each and every of these players. So it's more or less like the season has proved. We had nearly all of our players have made appearances, and also appearances more or less in the starting lineup. And for that, I believe and back my players, and we need this group. It's more the other way around. So perhaps we can even improve our group a bit more. But so far, I have no plans, at least not from the players who are really like close to the first team group, to be there. If there is perhaps a younger player who is also more or less featuring in the under-21, then for his development, it makes sometimes sense also to speak about the loan or whatever. But from our major first team group, there is not one plan to let any player go.
And none of them have approached you to say, I would like to move on?
Yes, even if it would have been, I wouldn't speak in public about this, because I'm just focused and we need all our players. Yes.
And last one on that subject. Given the recent run of form, confidence really high, joining Leeds United more so than ever this season looks like a really attractive prospect at the moment. Does the recent run of results and performances help to potentially attract new players to the club? You know, people wouldn't be coming here thinking, I might be in a relegation scrap.
I think Leeds United is always attractive for nearly each and every player in the world. Perhaps not for every player, but for many, many players, because it's also such a big name with such a big fan base, huge fan base, and such a big history. And once you play in the Premier League, in the best league in the world, it's very attractive for many, many players. Yes, and if you are then successful by your standards and are also there with good performances and good results, then even more. So we know that we have a lot to offer. But again, so we have not, our first target is also to be attractive for players or playing attractive footballs. This is more or less, yes, what we do at the moment. But the main thing is also like we want also to be effective and want to achieve our targets and our goals, and the goal is for this season then definitely also like that we earn the right to stay in this best league in the world, and then step by step also to establish and this club on this level. And I think many players are attracted also by this project, and for that we're in a good position.
And on the Liverpool game, obviously it's really recently that you played them. Can you take anything from that game, or do you have to take this fixture at Anfield in complete isolation from what went before?
Yes, a bit, of course, because it's more or less the same squad, very similar players also available for them. I think the only one that is missing, more or less, in comparison to the group that they had available for the last fixtures, perhaps Mo Salah, but he was on the bench anyway and not involved. So for that, the same players, also, of course, same manager, same style. It won't be a completely different animal right now. And we had to be at the top of our game in order to give ourselves a chance, but we did. And so for that, we had a relatively tight game, and also, I think, deserved in this home game to win 1 point. Yes, what has changed is that Liverpool in recent weeks was also in red-hot form. They've won game after game after we met last time, also since really a while right now, also unbeaten, back in the top positions. And of course, a home game for them is also even a bit more challenging and difficult for us in comparison to a home game for us. So again, it's a huge task for us, but also a task that we are looking forward to, and a really good game. And I hope we can be as competitive as we were also in the first game. Okay, what is missing? Of course, it's still Daniel James and Sean Longstaff are out. And also right now, Joe Rowan is out. It's not beneficial anyhow for what we want to do, but no complaints. So we go with what we've got, and for that, we try to be competitive again.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank
you. Just going on from that, Daniel, obviously we saw Nottingham Forest go there a few weeks ago, a side that are still just slightly below you, and they still managed to get a win. Does that give you encouragement? Does that give you positivity that you can go to Anfield and get a positive result?
No, because we knew before that wherever we go, we always have a chance. And if there is one shock result, then more or less probability that there is another one. Anyhow, it's not that high, because even the top side, sometimes they lose against perhaps a team who's not in the top positions in the table, and as optimistic as I always be, but it's also like, at the moment we are even ahead of Nottingham in the table. But when you have a look, they have qualified for Europe last season. They've spent 40 million euros or pounds, perhaps even. I think in the summer. For me, it's also like normally a team who has also different goals in comparison to a newly promoted side. So for that, it's also not that much of a shock. Like for example, we would go there and win, or Burnley would go there and win, or Sunderland. That's definitely a fact. So for that, it's not that we need to take any encouragement from other games. Every game is also different, but we take encouragement from our performances, and that we were more or less competitive in each every game of the season so far.
And at this stage in this season, given the fact that you're in the position you're in, the points that you have, the gap that you have to the next teams below the relegation points, with all the predictions that people were making about Leeds at the start of the season, do you feel like you're in a good position, you're happy with the way things have gone at this stage halfway through?
Yes, we know that we are in a good position. If you are there after 18 game days already with 24 points, it's great. In the last seasons, it would have been already close to secure your place also in this best league in the world. And I'm also not annoyed with the predictions at the beginning of the season, because it was realistic. And in the years before, the newly promoted side, although they spent lots of money, had no chance of survival. But especially right now, the new promoted side, of course, Sunderland and us, perhaps even in the best position at the moment, but also Burnley is in many games competitive. We have shown also that there is a chance for the promoted sides, and we're on a good path, but nothing is achieved yet. It feels also my prediction that we would need a 1 point average per game is also realistic for this season. Last season, even less points were necessary in order to stay in this league. But I know meanwhile that Leeds never does it the easy way. So it feels like if you want to win the title in the Championship, we need 100 points. If we want to promote, we need record points. Anyhow, and it feels also the same if we want to earn to stay in this league. Then we need also proper amount of points, and for that, it's a good result so far. But we have to keep going. So 20 points won't be enough in order to stay in this league. So we have to keep going also in winning points.
Daniel, an excellent result against Liverpool recently. Everybody will look at Liverpool and say they have a wealth of attacking options, numerous quality players to come off the bench. But with no Mo Salah, with no Isak at the moment, is this a better time than most to play Liverpool, given that their reinforcements are probably stretched a bit as well?
No, I don't think so, because when I have a look at the squad and who is playing in the offensive positions anyhow, so you could fear the worst anyhow. So it's more or less like they have Ekitike. I know him also like from Germany still, and impressive start to life at Liverpool, also in red hot form. With Florian Wirtz, a player of unbelievable potential. I think just him alone has cost more money than we spent in the whole summer for all of our signings. So we don't have to speak about all the other options who are there for the offense. So it's still, sometimes it's even a bit beneficial if you don't have too many options and too many competitions anyhow. So for the confidence of their offensive players right now, and if one or two are not available, I don't think it changes anything from the quality Liverpool has. And for that, we travel still very respectful and very aware of their strengths, but also not in fear. We know if we are there with the top performance, then even there we have a chance.
Speaking on one of those summer signings, he's been a revelation, world-class defender, Yaka Bijal. I'm just sort of wondering, how long was he on your radar? I know there was genuine interest from Inter Milan, Napoli, Bayern Munich, and did you have to convince him long and hard to come to Leeds United?
I follow his path even since a few years. He was, as a relatively young player, already in Germany, in the second tier in Germany for Club Hannover 96, it's a German name. Even since this moment, I followed his career. Of course, it was not that realistic in the years before, like to work together, because he had then the move later on to Italy, and I was in charge for different clubs here in England, or also in Germany for Borussia Mönchengladbach. It was not a topic, but I always had a soft spot for him, because I always thought he's a player that I really like, and because I also quite like his career. He was not a superstar on youth level, but he has improved more or less from year to year, and this is a pretty healthy development for a player. And I quite often like to follow this type of players, not players who are perhaps a bit overrated and overpriced in the spotlight. I also like to follow players who progress more or less from year to year, and Yaka is still in a relatively young age, still more or less in this part of his career where he's still running up the hill, but already there has played for a club in one of the top leagues, and has played top seasons also in Italy. And for that, we decided then also to sign him. Of course, we had good conversations, and if you want to sign a player of his caliber, a few conversations are necessary. But with lots of effort, we were able to convince him. But it was also relatively easy, because he was also more or less from the first day when we were in touch also highly motivated to represent a club like Leeds United. And for each and every player, it's also a challenge and a big motivation to play in the best league in the world. And you have to adapt also to English football. You need also a little bit of time, but meanwhile he's paying back our trust with really, really good performances. And we're all happy that we have him.
Hi, Daniel. Does Joe's absence complicate things if you want to play three at the back again, given the lack of cover if Sebastian Bonau came in?
Of course, it would be beneficial to have all my centre-back options available, and Joe was the integral part, not just of this season, but since years for us, and knows exactly how we want to play. And of course, I would prefer to have him available. It's not a situation I value when he's injured and not available. But we have other players who could also play in this position. So the good thing is we are flexible. We can play 3-man formation. We can play 4-man formation. It's good that we have different options, but we have also other players who can cover the position. Sebastian Bonneau is one of them. Sam Byram is a player who has played centre back. James Justin can play in the back three. So I still think we have enough option also to have this as a possible base formation also for this game. But we're also flexible and also capable to change.
And what impact will there be, if any, or in terms of thinking time, for players who are so used to Joe being there because he's been ever present in the league ever since you came in?
Yes, that's right. It's always beneficial if you have a player who is more or less joining us in each every training session, each every meeting, has played also different formations for us and also against different formations. It's never that easy anyhow. And of course, you prefer to have a player in his best possible rhythm and is also used to play together with the other teammates. For that, especially in the central position, you don't change too much during a season if there is not a major injury or a major lack of performance or something like this. And Joe was very, very impressive over the course of many, many months. And he's a really quality player and a key player for us. So it's always a bit tricky, but sometimes you can't choose, and sometimes it's also beneficial to just put a player into the water and then very often if he's prepared, he proves that he can swim straight away. And for that, it's also a chance right now for a different player to play in this position, or perhaps if we change our formation, then perhaps for a different player and a different additional midfield player or offensive player to show good performance. And for that, I don't complain too much about this. We adapt to the situation and back right now the player who will be in the starting lineup then.
Hi, Daniel. Your ability to win the ball back against Sunderland and your turnovers was tremendous, perhaps the best this season. And to be honest, over the past month, it's been really good as well. So I know you won't want to get into specifics because I know the opposition will be listening. But has there been anything you've changed about the way that your team is pressed, whether it's triggers or structure and setup, or is it just simply practice makes perfect?
Yes, in general, we have also different approaches how to press, depending on if the opponent plays in the back three, in the back four. Depends on if they have 2, 3, sometimes even 4 midfield players, and also their approach, if they want to overplay the pressing or if they invite, like Man City, for example, a lot, or if they're a bit more direct. So, of course, you adapt always your style, or at least you should adapt your style if you want to be successful. But what has never changed is my general belief about football. So I always believe we want to have the ball, and my team will always be angry if we don't have the ball. So I'm never happy just to sit deep and park the bus and just to shift anyhow, because I want us to play why we all once started to play football. And we start to play football not like to shift against the ball, how you would label it nowadays. It's more like we start to play football because we want to have the ball and want to do creative and hopefully also exciting things with it and want to score goals. And for that, what I always want to have in the DNA of my teams is more or less that we are angry when the opponent has the ball and try to win the ball back as quick as possible. And the best thing is always like in the moment when once you lose the ball, you have the best chance with good counter pressing, for example, also to win the ball back. If you play top possession sides, like we face also during this Premier League season. Next opponent is also top possession side, Liverpool. Of course, you have to adapt a bit, and in some periods also have to be perhaps even a bit more patient and more concentrate on your structure than we would have had to do, for example, last season in the Championship, where it was more often possible to win the ball straight away. Of course, even there you have to adapt, but my feeling that I'm angry when the opponent has the ball will never change, and for that, the DNA of my teams will also never change. We want to have the ball back as quick as possible if we lose this.
Again, I know you won't want to get into the specifics, but with the formation changes and the success of that over the past month. Has that impacted your transfer plans at all in terms of what areas perhaps get prioritised?
A little bit, I would say, because if you right now share also a little bit the amount of minutes that you play in two-man formation, in four-man formation, three-man formation. We have played a 3-5-2 with two strikers. We have played a 3-4-3 with one striker and two wide number 10s. We have played then obviously with wing-backs, but we have also played, I would say, even more games in four-man formation with full-backs and perhaps a double 6 or number 8. Of course, it changes a little bit. So if you know, okay, you play from game day 1 till 38, perhaps the amount of centre-backs that you need has to be a little bit less in comparison to when you play very often three-man formation, or the amount of strikers that you need. If you always just play with one striker, if you play several times also with two strikers, then you would need more strikers, for example. So yes, it impacts, of course, the plans on the transfer market. I wouldn't say it has changed hugely or in generally, because it was also and always a plan that we would, as longer as the season goes, a bit more flexible also in our base formation, because in the beginning we wanted to lean with many new signings a bit on what we've played in the last season, and then the longer we are together with this team, then also to be capable to play, for example, in three-man formation. But we are right now in this stage that we are capable to do this, and for that it affects, of course, slightly also a bit the plans also for January. Yes.
We'll move on to the embargo section.